Hello. Hello. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Craig Houston's and crazy belief system. We're going to look at Craig Houston and his opinions on Victoria McCloud. So come with me this way. Let's go on with it. That way. Which way? This way. So we're going to look at this video regarding Craig's comments.
I'd like to know yours. Can you tell me if the person that you were listening to there...
Right, well, okay, we'll quickly say he doesn't want to know your opinion because he doesn't want to know my opinion because he's been deleting them. So he doesn't want to know your opinion. He wants you to agree with him. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to expose the hypocrisy of Craig Houston. And we'll look at this part of it first.
Yeah. Sounded like a man or a woman. Because if that person phoned me, I would automatically presume and assume that that was a man I was talking to. Now, if that person presented herself in front of me, I may be thinking, is that a man? If it was not for slightly unkept style of hair, I would probably be convinced that was a man. Because it sounds like a man, looks like a man.
So he's actually, what he's doing here, he's actually committing a hate crime, actually. It's not the worst type of hate crime, but it is a hate crime what he's doing. Do we need to find out why? We don't need to really. I think most of us will understand that that's a hate crime. It's not a case of saying, is it correct it's a hate crime? It's a case of, is it a hate crime? So that's really where all these videos seem to go wrong with Craig. He seems to... It's a bit like, you can have opinions and you can have views and you're entitled to them. It's a free country. But you can't say... I can't say Ben Nevis is in Aberdeen. And I can insist that. But it isn't in Aberdeen. Ben Nevis is not in Aberdeen. So you can't say... So what he's saying is things that... he's deliberately misconflating law and, misrepresenting legal updates and legal findings. But, so what we'll do is...
I would consider that's a man. However, remember the voice. Remember the unkept hair. Remember the distinct lack of makeup. Remember the no need for spectacles. And now I want to show you a video of the same person on TV 2 days ago.
The UK is now in absolutely plain breach of a case called Goodwin, which is what led to the legislation permitting people to change their legal sex. So the United Kingdom is going to have to address that, and I believe that the Strasbourg Court, the European Court of Human Rights, is going to tell it that it must. This is really a case and guidance that's been promoted by a very tiny minority of British people. It's not reflective of the basic decency of British people. It's simply that there's been a disproportionate voice from a very well-funded lobby, and it has the ear of government, it has the ear of the press, a lot of it, but it isn't in accordance with basic British values, and I think any government that continues in the direction that it's going may well face difficulties, frankly.
Well, I don't know if I've already mentioned, that's Dr. Victoria McCloud. She is a retired judge, and that's who Craig's talking about.
Bizarre. If I now close my eyes, I may think, is that a man or a woman? Whereas previously I would probably be thinking definitely a man. So the voice of this person has somehow managed to change in a few months.
Right, so I really don't... I'm not entirely sure his point. I think the only point he's not really making any points other than he believes that Dr. Victoria McCloud is a man, really. But I will say transgender women, such male to female, do undergo speech therapy, and that's under the you can get that therapy under the NHS, under the protocols with the Scottish Government. There is various treatments and for people qualifying, so that's people who have transitioned from male to female. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about females to male right now. So there is, or you can go private, and Dr. Victoria McCloud possibly has gone private. You can go for speech therapy, and that change. If you really are serious about it, you can change your voice, right? So that's probably what Victoria McCloud is capable of doing. So the first video he's shown
is to be dependent on the topic we're talking about, and also
probably was she just didn't feel it was that important for that video.
We managed to dye her hair.
So the first video, she wasn't bothered about makeup, her voice, her hair. I don't really see. Really, it's up to her. If she wants to wear makeup, she can wear makeup. On the right, she's wearing makeup. I would suggest that on the right, they call makeup is called war paint. And also, it must, you also, there's a conceptual side to this as well. I mean, men wear makeup in TV and film and TV and stuff, and they have been known to wear makeup in the past. The things have changed over the last 200 or 300 years. But generally, I would say he's totally missing the whole point of this, and he's actually trying to make a point which is quite vacuous. It's not a very strong point. So the lady on the right is the same lady. Well, the Victoria McCloud on the right is serious about a subject. She's representing. The irony is she's representing women, well, transgender women in this case. So women, a typical woman in this situation would wear makeup, and that's because she's doing an interview on television. That's why she'd have her hair done, get her glasses, nice glasses, and have her makeup done. On the left, she's having a sort of chat about some judicial matter or some. I don't know if it's a particularly serious matter, and that's why on the left she's seen. So on the left she's got a top on and a cardigan. On the right, she's obviously wearing a suit or something, or a dress, some more formal clothes, and that's typical behaviour for a female. Now we'll get on to the next part of this in a minute, but so let's listen to the clown more.
Find a comb and brush her hair, find a bright red lipstick, and the need for a big pair of red glasses, which we didn't need when we were talking about general litigation issues in a previous output. That's bizarre to me. It's like, not only do I want to look more like a woman because I'm talking about trans stuff, I want to sound more like a woman.
So he's trying to sort of make out that Dr. McCloud is making herself seem more like a woman because she's talking about trans issues. That might be true. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's because it's a serious issue and it's war paint, and she's going, and you've got to remember, she's a judge. So she's a highly educated, in order to be a judge, she's a highly educated woman. And that's why she's wearing makeup. That's what women do. I mean, if you've ever got a conference, women wear makeup. They've got an event, they wear makeup. If they're just going to go to walk the dog, go and hang the washing out, do a spot of gardening, they're not going to wear makeup. Yeah, I don't think this is really, it's not really that difficult to work out for most normal people. So either I'm not going to try. I'll try and lay off speculating about what's going on in Craig's head for now.
Just be whatever you are without any cosplay.
Right, we need to stick to this bit here, right? Let's put that back and we'll listen to that again.
That's bizarre to me. It's like, not only do I want to look more like a woman because I'm talking about trans stuff, I want to sound more like a woman. Just be whatever you are without any cosplay.
Right, be whatever you are without any cosplay. Is that what he said? Okay, let's watch it again. That's the third time.
It's like, not only do I want to look more like a woman because I'm talking about trans stuff, I want to sound more like a woman.
Right.
Just be.
So a woman would look, well, firstly, what is the definite, what does a woman look like? You know, and the other thing I'm going to bring up with this, and I don't really want to start being horrible about certain individuals. If you look at Nichola Sturgeon, though, alright, okay. Arlene Fraser, what's her name? Hold on. Arlene Foster is, I got the name mixed up slightly there. So we've got Arlene Foster, Northern Ireland Minister. So you can see her there, she's got a suit on and a shirt. You know, we've got her earrings, makeup. Well, I mean, I'm not going to really get into. I'm not going to start. I don't want to start being horrible about Arlene Foster, right? I'm finding it. I think you can try and work out what I'm talking about, right? So there's Arlene Foster, right? So, you know, she looks probably she's at work, so it's a formal occasion. She's a genetic woman. There's her wearing makeup. There's her wearing earrings, makeup. Woman, right? Do you get where I'm going with this?
Whatever you are without any cosplay.
Cosplay. So here's Craig. What's that, a G51? Is it a hoodie or something? So there's G51. Well, I don't know. Oh, well, Rangers FC. I'm not exactly entirely sure. It might be a brand, G51. So that's what Craig's wearing. You know, just now on that video, that's what he's wearing. G51. But in this video here, that's not a video, it's a picture. So we click on that, right? So there's Craig. Right, what's he got on there? He's got a tie, a jacket, decent shirt, you know. So what is that cosplay? So he's why is he wearing a suit and a tie and a shirt in this picture, in this image? You know, when he's normally wearing, well, the clothes he normally wears is like prison clothes, like hoodies, tracksuit bottoms. You know, the sort of prison type uniform. But here he is. So is this not cosplay? The shirt, the tie. So what is this dressing up? So wait, basically he doesn't want Victoria McCloud to dress up or play around with clothes, but he's blatantly doing it himself. And the reason he's doing it, And the reason Victoria McCloud's doing it is because everybody does it. It's part of life. You dress differently for different occasions. The vast majority of people do. So, really, he's I don't know what his point is. He's trying to... Let's have a look and listen to him.
If you don't mind. So now
Right,
on
so
to the story.
he's wanting her to...
This judge.
He's wanting her to stop playing around with cosplay. So we've been over that. So that's that point, Craig. We think we've refuted it. Refuted? Is that a word? Refudiated? I think it is.
Ex-judge. Tried to get into the Supreme Court.
Retired Judge Craig.
Hearing. Input into it. And was refused. And is now going to take the British government to the European Court. And let me just read the story. Surprise.
So what Dr. McCloud is doing is she's taken the British government to the European Court of Human Rights, the ECHR. Now, she mentioned it in that interview that I filmed, and forgive me, I can't exactly explain it perfectly in legal terms, but what Craig and a lot of these people don't seem to understand about the recent court ruling is it's highlighting a deficiency in the British government, which was like what was Tony Blair, but back when the Gender Recognition Act and the Equality Act was passed. So Craig and people like him are looking at this the wrong way, so they're seeing it as some kind of success. I've already went over this. I think anybody that's foolish enough to side with J.K. Rowling on this is really not capable or not really thinking about it enough, and that's certainly the case with Craig. So Victoria McCloud is quite rightly taking the government to court, and it could be that transgender women get compensation for what's happened because they've been discriminated against because of what's happened with the anomaly with the recent court hearing. And the recent court hearing doesn't make the previous court act or the previous law, it doesn't make them sort of disappear. It doesn't work like that. And the spokesman at the time said that. He said things about this wasn't a win for anyone. So J.K. Rowling and our cohort, or ladies and women, lesbians, radical feminists, extremist feminists, think it's a win, but it's not. And what's going to happen is it's going to eventually go to the EHR, European Court of Human Rights. It's going to go there, and then it's going to get sorted out. And it might be a while, it might be another year or two. But that's what's going to happen. And we'll get this sorted out, and that's what's definitely going to happen, without a doubt. So that's really what this is about, and I think he's...
Surprisingly or not, the Guardian covered it.
Craig, with this whole thing, has sort of missed it by a country mile. He's completely and utterly wrong about it. And as we've proved here, he's demonstrated catastrophic hypocrisy with the cosplay. He's actually, I think he's been quite childish criticising Victoria McCloud, and he's actually committed a hate crime. The hate crime, let's have a look at that before we finish this up then, shall we? It's not completely clear, but basically what's... Oh, sorry. If someone targets you or someone else because of a dislike or prejudice of your age, disability, race, religion, sexual orientation, transgender identity, or variations in sex characteristics, then you should report as a hate crime. So So Craig's targeting Victoria McCloud. And her transgender identity. And I don't really see how it can't be a hate crime under that. What the things that he said about Victoria McCloud. It's probably not the most serious type of hate crime, but I would say it's a hate crime. So we're on the Police Scotland website here, and so hate crimes can be verbal or physical include. So it's not threatening what he's doing. Verbal abuse, it could be that. Assaults, it's not that. It's not robbery, it's not damage, but encourage others to commit hate crimes. That would be Craig. He actually encouraged one of his subscribers who claimed to be a transgender woman to stop. Basically, in effect, it would be stop transgender women using the female toilets. Harassment, online abuse on sites like Facebook or Twitter. Well, that's what that is. Well, on YouTube. So I think he is committing a hate crime. Personally, I'd rather sit back and eat popcorn than, just wait, see what happens with him, see if he wises up or anything like that. I don't know how Victoria McCloud herself feels about things, but I suppose she's probably got more important things to worry about. So what is a hate crime? Hate crime is behaviour with which is both criminal and rooted in prejudice. The legal definition of hate crime is any crime which is understood by the victim or any other person as being motivated wholly or partly by malice or ill will towards a social group. So I would say that was pretty much qualifying to be a hate crime. There seems to be plenty of malice and ill will from Craig, but we'll leave that part of it.
And this story says, Britain's first transgender judge is taking the UK to the European Court of Human Rights over the Supreme Court's ruling on biological sex. The UK Supreme Court ruled earlier this month that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act referred only to a biological woman and to biological sex, with subsequent guidance from the Equality Watchdog amounting to a blanket ban on the trans people using toilets and other services of the gender they identify as.
Right, so we looked at this yesterday. What he's talking about was it's guidance anyway, and we looked at it with Silver Hot Takes. There's no blanket ban. There's no laws regarding toilets. So that's, before you even start going on about that, there isn't any. So that's that. It's guidance at the moment it's guidance until they get the legislation sorted out. So there are no laws about toilets. There are very few safe spaces, female safe spaces. They're few and far between. We're talking about a rape crisis centre or a women's refuge. Toilets are not safe spaces. And the stuff about the work, that is, it was called. We looked it up yesterday in the Silver Hot Takes video. If you want to go and look at that, you'll see that. So that pretty much explains what he's going on about here. So we're looking at the guidance is should. So transgender women should, not use the female toilets or this is guidance. So that's not law, that's guidance, right? So I think we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that just now. I think.
They identify as. Victoria McCloud, a retired judge, is applying to the European Court of Human Rights to bring action against the UK for infringement of her Article 6 rights. Article 6 of the Human Rights Convention guarantees the right to a fair trial for both criminal and civil matters. And this is what the judge is arguing. Last year, McCloud sought to have leave to join the litigation in the Supreme Court case brought by gender-critical campaigners for Women Scotland against the Scottish Government. Arguing it could significantly affect legal protections for transgender women, but was rejected. So basically, court looked at this appeal for her to come and give evidence, and they went, well, no, really.
Right, well, what happened there is she didn't. I think it happened too fast, or maybe she hadn't realised what was happening. It was too late. I don't get, okay, right, so I think that's. We'll finish up. We'll finish up. So, Craig has displayed quite a lot of discriminatory beliefs and prejudice. I think he's. If it weren't, I think what we can see when we see him with his prison outfit on, I see a lot of people wearing tracksuit bottoms and hoodies and stuff like that. That's fine. But this guy, when he's been videoed or photographed with a suit on, and that's when he's at his role, probably the leader of the SDP. I think he's still talking to Rangers football supporters. You see that in the comments. If you look at the comments, I'm not even going to look at them because we'll get into it too much. He really needs to, I would say he needs to up his game. I've said this before. He's coming across as being, unprofessional for start, massively ignorant and prejudiced. I don't know what's motivating him. I don't actually know what's motivating him unless he's maybe just a bit thick. I can't see how he can be completely thick because he's done quite well in some areas of his life. So I can't actually see how he can. I could say he's just a bit thick and he doesn't know what he's doing. But for somebody who's a leader of the SDP, I think it's a bit of a joke. The stuff that he's saying, and bearing in mind he's already been arrested. So I think he's more than likely going to get arrested again, and maybe he doesn't take it seriously. He's a leader of the SDP. Who's going to vote for that? Nobody's going to vote. They're not going to get anywhere. And maybe he's getting paid for it. Maybe he's happy. His YouTube channel's probably done quite well, so you can just get along with that. But Craig, so you're just really. I mean, what was all this about? I mean, what there was nothing there. You were just being sort of nasty for nothing about that lady who's wearing makeup because she was at an interview when you were wearing your suit. Craig, see if you land up. I mean, I think you have been on GB News. You'll be wearing makeup, won't you, Craig? Right, so, these idiots, like the other one, Silver Hot Takes, they go on and they talk such a lot of nonsense. I mean, so put it this way, if I was to turn around and tell you Falkirk Stadium is in Livingston, right? I can say that, I've got free speech, that I can say things, but I can't say Falkirk Stadium is in Livingston because it isn't in Livingston, is it? It's in Falkirk. So I think so Craig is perfectly entitled, and so is Silver Hot Takes, to believe that men cannot become women and women cannot become men. He's perfectly entitled to believe that. But he can't lie about the law in this country is what he's doing. And be deceptive about the laws. And spread disinformation to his followers who are probably Rangers supporters. I think that's why he's so popular. I think any sort of normal person with any type of education or intelligence is probably going to, or maybe if they know, I know a lot of people know me, they know, or people like me, say, wait a minute, I know, and I've tried to reach out to Craig, and he's blocked me or whatever, I don't know, he doesn't want to talk about it. He says he wants to listen to people's comments, but he doesn't. So, there we have it. So, cosplay. So Craig says that Victoria McCloud cannot do, or should not do, cosplay whilst he's been caught doing it himself, getting out of his jogging bottoms and his hoodie, his Rangers, his prison uniform, and getting into a suit. But he can do it, and when he's on GB News, he'll be wearing makeup. So we'll leave it at that. Cheery bye now.
Doing it anymore.
It's you they're not. It's you that they're not doing it anymore for.
So, if you enjoyed the video, you want others to see it, do 1, 2 or 3 of the following things. Thumbs up, comments, and hit share. That would be great.
Right, he doesn't want comments. He just wants comments that agree with his narrative. That's all he wants. So don't put comments in that are trying to explain that he's wrong, because he doesn't want to listen to that.
If you've not already done so, please subscribe. Oh no, you're a doctor now who demands rights. However, what I always say, the most important thing of all, unless you're a crackpot who should know better, because
that's you, Craig. You are a crackpot that should know better. Absolutely, you should know better, and what you're doing is wrong, and it's going to come back. It is going to affect you. Right, we'll have another look at this some other day, but he is a crackpot, and he should know better.
End of the day, you're a judge. Oh no, you're a doctor now.
She is a judge, and she's a doctor. What is the problem with that? Can judges not be doctors? Oh, wait a minute. Are we getting a little bit of what is it again? Bitterness, because she's a doctor. I mean, has Craig got any qualifications? I dare say he probably has, but he's not a doctor, is he? I mean, to be a doctor, you've got to become a doctor, do a doctorate. A little bit of envy there, Craig.
Who demands rights that some people have already got, because we keep going on about trans rights are human rights.
He just doesn't know what he's talking
so,
about.
So, unless you're one of those people, not you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.
Yeah, he really is a complete clown, actually. Right, thanks for watching. Bye.